I found this creepy, toxic, weirdo Neckbeardo guy on Reddit, and I just felt like reading it out. So let's get into it.
At work, this guy, Andrew, was bragging about his lifestyle. He told everyone he was a huge playboy in college. Andrew also referred to women as females or sluts. Andrew told everyone that he was studying to be a history teacher and that it was going to be very easy because he's a genius that knows history better than most people. Well, his first attempt to make himself look cool was hitting on a lesbian couple, claiming he can give them a great time and turn them straight again. Andrew really sucked at his job, so people disliked him very quickly. We stacked boxes and trailers and couldn't stack walls to save his life. And always claimed he was tired or distracted by all the women he was chasing. Well, at the end of December 2022, he randomly told everyone he had to quit because he flunked college with a 0.4 GPA and that it was all women's fault for seducing him and dressing slutty. Andrew left after calling the lesbian girls sluts and claimed they sent him lewd pics and that he was willing to give to all the other guys who worked there the pics. Luckily, everyone declined and threatened to report him, but he quit before they could. Side notes. Andrew also told all the men his flawless secret to pick up girls was just to buy them things until they owe you sex. He also kept trying to invest in my band, Work in Progress, by using Bitcoin scams and by boosting our popularity by hiring girls, females, to go to shows. He was also a follower of Andrew Tate and called himself an alpha male. And he for some reason called me a Chad for being single. By my choice, I have problems I need to work on. Wow.
I wonder about the perspective of the Neckbeardo Andrew in the story. I don't get it. They're turned on by lesbians because they're lesbians, but he thinks they're going to change them. I don't understand how you can be into them while also having no respect for what they are, even though what they are is what gets you off. That's a really strange thing. So, what do they gain? I'm attracted to this lesbian because she's a lesbian. She'll certainly suck me off. Arrogant, stupid. Of course he's into Andrew Tate. Why wouldn't he be? We already know this guy is insecure, gullible, weak, because those are the types of people who are attracted to Andrew Tate. Weak, insecure, gullible, and incredibly dumb. I imagine this Neckbeardo would feel very uncomfortable if two gay men were sitting behind him in the bus and they were just chatting to each other about how they're going to turn the Neckbeard gay. I don't understand the straight again part. I don't think they were straight at all, genius. It's just jaw-droppingly idiotic. This Neckbeard is claiming that he failed because of the way some women were dressed. What he's really saying is he can't control himself, but he can't take personal responsibility for the fact that he chose not to ignore them. These women allegedly dressed in a way that provoked him, and that's his fault that he chose not to focus on his studies. He chose not to be an adult. Of course he's going to blame women, blame immigrants, blame skateboarders, blame gamers, blame whoever you can. Don't take personal responsibility because you're an Andrew Tate guy, so you're not going to take personal responsibility. Accountability doesn't mean anything when you're one of these weirdos who follows Andrew Tate. I've never had this kind of problem in my life. I've never had a problem where I couldn't just look away from the attractive girl, even when I was a teenager in junior high and high school. It's so easy to just be a person and not a moron. You can just simply focus on things. It's so strange. It's like someone who can't stop thinking about video games, but it's somehow the world's fault and not your fault. I prefer to live in a world where people have understanding, compassion, self-awareness, empathy, where they actually value understanding the world around them and understanding different kinds of people. But we don't live in that kind of world. There are lots of people who don't care. And this guy might be one of those people. So unless he just wakes up one day and decides to understand the world around him, I hope he finds himself alone on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and never influences or harms another human being. So here's a bonus one. This guy seemed less horrifyingly disgusting. I feel like this one sort of balances out the last one, because the last one was like horrifying. So let's get into it. So I was at a candy store, Lolly and Pops, earlier today, and this overweight neckbeard with a Sailor Moon shirt and actual fedora was talking to an employee really loudly. He was pointing at her pens and asking about them. They were anime pens, I think. And he was all in her personal space. When I say point, I mean he was touching her pens. I stood nearby and listened to the conversation for a few seconds, and she flashed the help me eyes at me. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I stepped in and asked if she could help me because I wanted to try something. She was very relieved, and she gave me a free piece of chocolate. You can get free samples if you ask in general. This wasn't special or anything, just a good excuse to get her away from him. The neckbeard wandered off, and she went to work the cash register after that. An hour or two later that day, I was at the Barnes & Noble nearby the mall, and that same neckbeard walked into the store, and I watched him bother a few people in the manga section for a few seconds before losing interest with everyone and leaving. There wasn't really a need to step in this time, because he was bothering customers that pretty promptly told him so, and the interactions were only a few sentences. That other guy was far less toxic. He was more like my younger brother who's a year younger than me. Like creepy, filthy, awkward, but ultimately harmless. I drew this neckbeard back in 2020. I scanned it onto my laptop. I colored it with MS Paint and just used my mouse. I don't have a special digital pen. I don't have a tablet. I don't have a drawing pad. I don't know, I just thought it'd be fun to make a video like this. Meow at you later.